Well, I'd say that Anaheim 1 definitely did not disappoint. That was one of the best Anaheim 1s that that I've seen, I think, in a long time. I don't know about you guys. So in my last video, I gave some predictions on Anaheim 1. So that's what I'm doing right now, is seeing how those predictions did. I only did the winners, and I do want to talk about more than that. And I also want to see how my championship predictions are going too. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video. I have a few clips loaded up. So I was trying to find a way to put clips of the race in. I tried all day yesterday to find different things, and I ended up just putting my camera in front of the screen and recording the screen. So we'll see how that works. We'll see if NBC wants to be gay and takes down this video. I should be fine with fair use, but we'll find out. We'll definitely find out. So 250 class. So there's really only 3 people that I want to talk about, and it's the top 3. It's Forkner, Ferrandis, and Cooper. I think there was a couple other people that did pretty good. I think Jet Lawrence, for his first race and having food poisoning, actually did fairly decent. I think he'll be pretty good later in the season. Craig did okay, did about what I thought. I thought he was going to be right there, but just doesn't have the speed to keep up with those fast guys. So those 2, I think, did not too bad. But I really want to talk about the top 3. So my prediction going into this race was that Forkner was going to win, and I thought I had it. I thought I really had it. Obviously, Forkner's season didn't start very well with him wadding in practice in the whoops. I think he's probably pretty glad that he's one of those riders that actually wears a chest protector for Supercross, because he could honestly have like a broken back, because he hit his back pretty dang hard. So I'm sure he was super sore going into the race. So for him to do as well as he did, I think he actually did a pretty good job. So obviously Forkner was winning most of the moto until he jumped off the track. I don't know what was going on with this track on Saturday, because obviously we saw like 50 dudes jump off the track. Okay, maybe not 50, but you know what I'm saying. I wonder if they were cross jumping or if their momentum was going sideways. I don't know. I don't think anybody cross-rutted, but if they did, maybe it's because there was a bunch of little ruts everywhere instead of just really deep, big ones. And I don't know. I have no idea. I really don't know why they were jumping off the track so much, but Forkner was obviously a victim of that. I just wanted to show that, whatever, I know what my clips are. If you actually look the lap before, he almost jumped off the track too, after almost jumping into a lapped rider. So his momentum was already kind of leaning towards jumping off the track. Then the next lap, obviously, he didn't really jump off the track. He just jumped a little too far right, got into the hay bales. Then the controversial thing happened. His bike went left, and I understand what he was doing. He obviously was sideways on the track and would have much rather not get landed on. So in his mind, in the quick second, a split decision, obviously he thought that the safest thing for himself, was to just go across the track to the other lane. Obviously, he gained a pretty big advantage. If he would have turned around, he would have been really far behind Ferrandis, because Ferrandis passed him as he was going off the track. So if he would have had to turn around and then keep going, it would have been a pretty decent way behind Ferrandis. And I think he knew that too. So when he went on to the other side of the track, he let Ferrandis by and was just kind of riding around thinking maybe that would help him. In the end, it didn't, and they docked him 2 spots. So in reality, I say he got 3rd. He didn't really get 3rd. He got 5th. But he impressed me. I think he did pretty good for how hard he crashed in practice. Looked fairly smooth, not too out of control. So yeah, I'd say Forkner did pretty good. Ferrandis. Now, Ferrandis, you may have a different opinion on this, but I don't think he looked very good. Obviously, all night long, Carmichael and whatever that British dude's name, who I think he did pretty good. He's like an IndyCar guy, if you didn't know. That's what I think he announces mostly. They're talking about his starts all night, that if he gets his starts figured out, then he'll be really hard to beat. And guess what? He got a terrible start. He's not helping himself if he can't figure his starts out, because I think Cooper and Forkner are going to be at the front every race. off the start. One, his starts aren't any better, it looks like. We'll see in the upcoming rounds, but I think the biggest thing is he might have been the fastest dude on the track, which he barely was. If you look at lap times, he was 1/100th of a second faster than Cooper. That's it, lap time wise. What about Forkner? I guess yeah, like 4/100ths faster than Forkner. So really, he wasn't any faster than those guys. I didn't see him making up any time at all throughout the race. He was about always 4 to 6 seconds behind the leader. So I don't think he was the fastest guy, like they were saying on the broadcast. And he just looked really, I guess, out of control to me. He was making a lot of little mistakes. If you watch him, he's just constantly, he looked like he was fighting the bike a lot. Like he was really overriding it. He was dabbing his foot in corners, falling off the back of the bike. I've got one corner actually that I'm going to show you in a little bit that shows a difference between him and Cooper and their riding styles and pretty much their mentality going into the race, I think. But Ferrandis, he just looked not good to me. I thought he was going to crash at any minute, and he almost did. He almost crashed in the whoops, and the announcers didn't even realize it. They didn't say anything about it. If he keeps riding like that, I don't think it's going to be good for him in the upcoming rounds. I think he could crash pretty hard. He almost did, obviously. I just said that in the whoops. I think he needs to calm down a little bit. He didn't seem like he ever rode like that last year, so that doesn't seem like his riding style to just be out of control and fast. He seemed fairly smooth last year. I could be wrong. It could be his riding style, but that's just my take on it. Finally, we have Justin Cooper. I think he was by far the best 250 of the night. He started off with the whole shot, put himself in the best position possible, and then he rode a really smart race. He saw Forkner coming up on the inside of him, knew Forkner wanted to retaliate for him taking him out in the heat, so he just let Forkner by. Like, he must have had the confidence to know that he could keep up with Forkner, so he just kind of let him by. Literally, he was just kind of cruising behind Forkner, it looked like. It didn't look like he was trying at all. So what he thought in his mind probably is like, hey, I can keep up with Forkner. I'll just chill behind him for a while. This is like Carmichael stuff. This is what Carmichael said he used to do. Carmichael used to say that he would much rather be in second than first and push the guy in front of him into a mistake. And that's exactly what Cooper did. He just was chilling behind Forkner all race, not pushing, I don't think, very hard at all, just cruising, not making any mistakes. And then he pushed Forkner into a mistake. I don't think he could have rode any better of a race. He just looked really good to me. He looked smooth, like he was not overriding the bike. If he was having trouble in a corner, he would just kind of, for a split second, like slow down just for a second, regroup, and then come out of the corner faster. Like I have an example right here. I got to look actually at this. I'm going to bring this closer to me so you can still hear me. So it's Ferrandis and Cooper. So this is the corner after Forkner crashed. And if you look, the same thing happens to Ferrandis and Cooper. So they're in the middle of the corner and the bike stands up for a second. They lose balance. And then from there, they have a much different approach. Ferrandis, if you look, his bike stands up and then he just kind of just raw dogs it and keeps going. So he goes into the corner. His bike stands up, then he dabs his foot, just kind of keeps going, is all off balance coming out of the corner, doesn't make the first little double, and then keeps going. And if you watch Cooper, the same thing happens to him. So then this one, Cooper, his bike stands up, and instead of just kind of keep going for it, dab his foot, get all sketchy coming out of the corner, he just regroups for a split second, slows down for a second, gets his bike back balanced, and then keeps going through the corner, makes the little double perfectly, and no harm, no foul. I just think that right there, those two clips kind of show the difference between Ferrandis and Cooper on Saturday night. Cooper rode a perfect race. He didn't ride over his head, looked super smooth, looked like he was flowing easily. Like, no problem at all. It didn't look like he made more than maybe 3 mistakes all night. And they were simple mistakes, just dabbing his foot in the corner, like, didn't even get sketchy in the whoops really ever. He just looked really good to me. That's my view on it. Cooper rode an amazing race. Ferrandis was a little out of control. And Faulkner, for crashing as hard as he did in practice, I think he still did pretty well, even though he got docked and ended up getting 5th. I think the best thing is that all the championship contenders are still in it. They're a 5th place. You're not out of the championship yet. I think that was an awesome Anaheim going into the rest of the series. Okay, now 450s. In 450s, there's pretty much only 2 people I want to talk about, and that's Cianciarulo and Barcia, but I will talk about the other guys just for a second. I think the craziest thing is how hard, who was it? So it was Brayton, Webb, Roxon, Baggett, and Anderson. Anderson wasn't in there until towards the end because he didn't get a good start. But those 4 or 5 guys were battling the entire time. Like, literally the entire time from start to finish. Out of all those guys, Anderson and Cooper Webb looked the best to me. I think Anderson could have kept up with Barcia and Cianciarulo if he would have gotten a good start. I think he's probably the only other one in the class that could have kept up with him. Webb somehow salvaged a 3rd with having the flu. That's gnarly. I think he could be a big threat. Obviously, defending champion, he's always going to be a threat. But with him being able to get a 3rd while having the flu, that's got to make the other riders pretty nervous, I think, that he's going to be even better than he was last year. We'll see. Baggett really impressed me. I didn't think he was going to be as fast as he was last night. Not really known, I don't think, as a Supercross rider. Brayton was awesome. He seemed like he was starting to get a little tired towards the end. And then Roxon, he looked okay to me. He was staying right with those guys up until like the last 5 minutes, and it seemed like he really dropped off. And I just hope that's not the Epstein-Barr virus still there, that he's still having some overtraining problems, symptoms. I know on his Instagram he said that his bike was really stiff, but I don't know. I don't know if that's a good excuse to show why he was able to hang with them for 15 minutes out of the 20 minutes of the moto. Actually longer than that even. That shows me that he got tired. I don't know. I could be wrong. And then Tomac, pretty lackluster performance too. Him and Anderson started pretty much, I think, with each other. He couldn't keep up with Anderson when Anderson was going through the pack. So, I don't know. Tomac didn't look like he was charging very hard to me at all, and just didn't look that good. The 2 big dogs of the night, obviously, were Cianciarulo and Barcia. Those 2, like I said, I think Anderson could have kept up with them, but they were by far the 2 fastest dudes of the night. Barcia obviously put him in the best spot that he could pretty much get in. Obviously, Vince Friese got the whole shot, but Vince Friese is like the new Michael Essie, so he's probably always going to get the whole shot. But Barcia, I don't feel like he's ever really been that good of a starter, so for him to get that good of a start shows me he's very confident in himself, and he truly believes that he deserves to be up front. Kudos to him. I didn't have him in the top 5. I kind of wrote him off for the championship contenders, and now he has the red plate, and he could win it pretty easily. If he rides like he did on Saturday for every round, he could be the champion pretty easily because nobody could really keep up with him last night. And then Cianciarulo didn't get the best start, and he did what a champion had to do, and he, in the first 3 sections really made up a lot of time and passed a lot of dudes and put himself where he needed to be. And that shows me a lot too, that he's ready to be a championship contender. He really wants to be up there also. And then those 2, once Barcia and Cianciarulo got into first and second, they just kind of started running away from everybody. Nobody could keep up with them. They both looked really good. Cianciarulo looked really smooth. Barcia a little out of control. But that right there, I said Ferrandis, that doesn't seem like his style. That is Barcia's style. If Barcia's a little bit out of control, that's when he's feeling good. So I give Barcia a pass. There's not very many people I give a pass for looking out of control, but Barcia is one of them. That's how he's always ridden since he was on like a 60. That's comfortable to him. And he obviously must be in ridiculously good shape because he rode like that the entire moto and barely slowed down. Again, Barcia jumps off the track. I don't know what was going on with these riders and jumping off the track, but that was weird. I don't know. That was weird. But my favorite part of the night was, I think, when Barcia got back onto the track, because he went right back after Cincerillo. He really wanted to win this race, and that's awesome to me. I really like that. So at least he didn't go for a T-bone like he looked like he was going to at first. He just wanted to scare Cincerillo, I think. But just doing that, I really liked that. That's a champion mentality to me. That's something you'd see Carmichael doing. Carmichael jumping off the track, going crazy to get back on and try to get back into the lead. I like that. Cincerillo and Barcia were just kind of the same speed again, just like they were. And then Cincerillo made a mistake. I don't know if anybody else noticed, but what Cincerillo made a mistake on was a triple in this section. And I only saw 3 people doing it all night, and it was him and Barcia and then Anderson. I didn't see anybody else do it, and that's another reason why I think Anderson could have kept up with these 2, is because he was willing to do that section. That triple was huge. I would have doubled through that section. I wouldn't have even thought about doing that second triple that some of the 250s were doing. No. Triple? Are you kidding me? That was huge. So Cincerillo obviously made a mistake. He lost some traction coming out of the corner, case of triple, Barcia got back into the lead. But one thing that I really liked was that the next lap when they came around, Cincerillo still did the triple. He still went for it. He wasn't scared of it. He knew it was just a little mistake, and he knew that if he wanted to win, Barcia was still doing the triple, so he had to keep doing the triple. And again, that's the kind of mentality that you need to have, that these guys need to have. Yeah, it might be sketchy, and you could get hurt. Roxon got hurt really, really badly on a gnarly triple. It was a triple section in the middle, right? I don't know. But these guys are willing to risk injury, I guess, to get the win. And, I mean, it might not be the best thing because you could get hurt, but that just shows me that these guys really want to win, and I like that a lot. And then the rest of the race, it was pretty much just Anderson and Baggett making their way to the front, Webb getting into third and staying there, and then Barcia running away with it. If you look at the last laps, there's only one person really that was putting in the same lap times as him at the end of the race. That was Anderson. So if you go, let me bring this closer in. So he was doing 1.5 minutes to a minute pretty consistently for the last about 6 laps. His last lap, he went a little slower. Granted, he had a big lead. If you go to Cincerillo, he's doing 1.5 minutes to 1:01.5. So he was about the same to a second slower than Barcia in those last laps. Pretty much everybody that were top dogs had those same lap times, if not a little slower, until you get to Anderson. And then Anderson was doing 1.5 minutes to high minute. So he was either the exact same as Barcia or just a little bit off, like less than half a second. There was nobody that was going as fast as Barcia at the end of the moto. And you could tell, he was going for it. He did not care about the track, how gnarly it was. You look at everybody else, not everybody else, but you look at a lot of these other top riders and they were starting to get a little tentative towards the end of the moto. Not Barcia. He was just going for it. He was really feeling it. And I think that's a testament to his off season, that he worked really, really hard. Probably the hardest out of everybody to get his body ready, to get his bike ready, to get his mind ready, to get everything ready. I think he might be the strongest dude now for the rest of the championship, but I mean, you can't see much from the first round. You really can't. But I think you can see that Barcia really put in the work to be a champion, and I think that's awesome because I think only even at the end of last year, he was probably considering retiring and knew that he had to put his head down and really work if he wanted to keep doing this thing, even just have a ride. I just want to say great job to Barcia and Justin Cooper. They were definitely the best in their respective class for the night. And I just want to say my A1 predictions were almost right. Forkner led most of the race. That was my 250 class prediction. And Cincerillo led a lot of the race, and he got second. That was my 450 prediction. I think I was pretty close there. My championship contenders for the 250 class are pretty close. 450 is all over the place right now. I can't even. Osborne jumped off the track, wadded, pretty much knocked himself out. I don't even know how he was able to ride and didn't do very good in the main. He probably was feeling terrible, and I had him 5th in my championship hopes. I'm just really glad that pretty much all the championship contenders had at least a decent night. So everybody's still in it. And yeah, I thought that was really good. Anaheim won. Oh, and did anybody else really like that Webb still has the fin on his helmet? I thought that was awesome. Anyways, sorry that this was a couple days late. I should have made this yesterday, but I didn't. So it's Monday now, a couple days after Anaheim won. I just want to know what you guys think about these types of videos. I won't make one for every round. I'm not going to make one next weekend. I'll wait a few rounds and I'll maybe make another one to see how my championship hopes are going for my prediction. Obviously make another one before the East Coast rounds. Hopefully it's going to get warmer here soon in Colorado and I can actually start riding again and start making videos again of me actually riding instead of just sitting in front of a camera talking. Although this isn't too bad either. So I'll keep doing this if you guys like it. I'll talk about different things if you guys want me to. I just want to leave this. I want to, at the end of videos, my dad gave me this idea. I want to say what I'm not obsessed with, but what I'm into right now in things related that are not related to motocross. So music, TV shows, movies, books, anything. So right now, okay, I found a song yesterday on TikTok and I'm obsessed with it. Let me look what it's called. I've even got it open right here. I can't play it because then I'll get copyright. But it's a remix of Frank Ocean's Chanel. I think that's the song. And it's called Shibuya. And it's the Channel Funk remix produced by El Dre. I'll put a link in the description of this video if you guys want to check it out. So that's what I've been like really into right now. And at the end of every video, I'm going to say what I'm really into. So hope you guys liked this video. Sorry for it being so late. Yeah, I'll see you in another one. Click that subscribe button. I need to get to 1,000 subscribers. Also, my YouTube is about to pass my Instagram, and I never thought that was possible. I never thought that would be possible. So, that's cool. Thanks, guys. I only need like 3 more. So, yeah. Cool. Wow. I'm out of here. Dude, my room is dirty.